Well, hello YouTube and all you people that are involved with doing the indoor biochar trials. My peppers that I was using for my trials are ready to go outside into the greenhouse. It's a low hoop house. Really too cold out here in this part of the country for peppers and tomatoes yet, but tomatoes have been in the ground for a week out there in the low hoop house inside of cozy coats, and they're growing like crazy. So everyone else is going into the hoop house now too. It's just a good place to hold them there. They'll get used to the light levels, and I don't have to keep them in here anymore. And they'll get acclimatized to being outside, a little bit hardened off for the night temperatures. It cools down a little bit in there, but it's really a nice environment even when the temperatures cool outside. Well, to the specifics of the test, this is the first time I've ever done a test, and one thing I learned is test only one thing at a time. I tried to test two parameters, different kinds of water and different levels of biochar. I can see some of the my water test is proving beneficial. Just as a note, I use something called iWater, and then also just plain tap water that had been allowed to dechlorinate by letting it sit in the open. The tap water for the first good long period of time was the plants were definitely bigger with the tap water. In the last week or two, the plants have, with the being watered with the iWater, have gone a little bit nuts, and I don't want to use that for the test parameters here. So the water we're just going to take out, and that'd be certainly worthwhile for another test. There have been many tests done with germination rates for iWater and for actual plant growth, and even in the patent itself for the iWater, it's shown to increase growth in plants and growth rates, lots of other things, but that's for another test for me. So those were the two control plants with the iWater and the tap water, and the tap water and no biochar in the soil. So this tap water one is doing pretty good. The one thing that I can see, height-wise, it's holding its own, but there is a big issue when it comes down to, I'm going to put this out of the way and just show you what I'm seeing here. So there's tap water and tap water with that's 10% biochar. The biochar plants, almost without exception, I think, and there might be odd leaf, but the biochar plants are much deeper green. They've all been treated exactly alike, fertilizer-wise and such. You can see the difference in the greenness, and the leaves on the biochar plant are considerably larger. And that, if I look at the one that was done with the 10% biochar and the iWater, my goodness, look at that. And here's biochar and iWater in my right hand over here, and the 10% biochar with the tap water. Even there, the iWater, although I'm not trying to do a whole bunch of comparisons here, the iWater leaves are so much larger. The internodal distance on them, about the same without measuring, so that's good. And like I said, the iWater plants in the last couple of weeks have just taken off in growth. So that's so much for the actual leaf size and the controls. So I have way over here, there's 5% biochar, two plants at 5% biochar, and again tap water and iWater. They're doing pretty similar at that point. And I have two more 5% biochar. One of the things I should have had in the control as well is more control plants. I just didn't have any more room. But 2 or 3 control plants, maybe 3 of each of these and 3 of each of the control plants, but that takes space and I didn't have it this year. Maybe for another test. So there's 5% biochar, 5, and then we'll bring up. So they're like people. they come in different sizes. You know, so the plants are really healthy with the 5% biochar, and this one's going crazy with blooming. It's pretty neat. So if I put, just to get them out of the way a little bit and sort things out, we'll keep the biggest of the biochar, 5% biochar, and then come up with, these are the 10% biochar. Has it made a difference? A little bit, I'd say. The biochar, 10% biochar is a little bit bigger, maybe a little bit more robust. Coming into bloom, this is the exception for the 5% that's already in bloom. The other ones are all, well, there's a bloom on the 10% biochar. So, did the biochar help? Certainly. We go back to the control plants, and they're just not as, one isn't as tall, the other one is as tall, but not nearly as robust a plant. And I like that. And the plant leaf color is really quite noticeably different. It just looks like there's something missing in the soil here, and biochar is not, although it's been charged and it has the elements in it, there's none in here, but it was really good, the same kind of potting soil to start with, and it was a good potting soil, lots of mineral amendments and such. So, I'm happy to say that I think I'm going to stick with, well, 5 to 10% biochar, whatever I have. When every plant goes in the ground in my garden, there's a handful of biochar going in with it. And so now that's all for this test, and we're on to the field trials. Talk to you later. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.